Good morning. This is the Great Basin Smoke Dispersion briefing for Thursday, February 10th. It has been a dry period. This is just the last 2 weeks. We can see most areas are uh, less than 10% of normal in that dark red, and the other shades of red you see are basically 5 to 25% of normal. So just been a very dry period, not just for the last week or as indicated here for the past 2 weeks, but basically for the past 6 weeks. We have been extremely dry, one of the driest months that we've had, January into February, in a couple of decades. It has been reflected on some of our fuels, 100-hour fuel, especially down south, in the single digits in that gold shade, and even below 5 in the southern tip down by Hoover Dam. So just extremely dry, and that dryness pushes up into past Cedar City, into some of the higher terrain of south central Utah, and moderately dry in the yellow in the low teens for 100-hour fuels. The 1,000-hour fuels in the single digits across southern Nevada, the Arizona Strip into far southern Utah, and in the low teens in a large area of yellow through here. Our snowpack, which was well above normal about a month ago, we've had very little snowfall since then, and just about all areas are now below normal, except still holding tough down in some of the higher terrain of southern Nevada, where they've had some very heavy dumps about a month ago, and still we've been in a cool but dry spell, so it's melting very slowly. But otherwise, you can see that most areas are below normal, and that trend will continue. The snow cover on the ground actually pretty extensive across Idaho. It extends through much of the Snake River Plain as well, maybe just a couple of inches down there, and then again 20, 30 inches, but still maybe only 80 or 90% of normal across those areas. Our satellite imagery does show a weak storm system coming in on northwest flow. Not a lot of moisture. It'll be just enough perhaps to stir up some of the pollution down the low levels and clear things out a little bit, but the further west you go, the more under the influence of strong subsidence under high pressure, which is just off the California coast. So for later today, there is the dry air mass under the high pressure. There's most of the moisture pushing to our north and east into parts of eastern Montana. You can see the dispersion index on the right-hand side. Best dispersion actually where you'll see the sun causing some good vertical mixing, and also some strong gusty northeast winds coming around that high, maybe 20 to 30 miles per hour across southern Nevada and southwest Utah. I'll have to keep an eye on that, because under dormant fuel conditions and as dry as we've been, it's a good way to get a 50 or 150 acre brush fire sometimes during such conditions. Friday, not much changes. High pressure still in control across just about the entire west. Northerly flow. Again, good dispersion where you see the white and yellow getting towards higher sun angles this time of year compared to the dark days of late December and January, and still some pretty good northerly winds. You can see them actually enhanced by the terrain on the lee slopes of the mountains of the Uintas, and also down into the higher terrain coming out of Cedar City down to St. George and into the Strip. Vertical mixing height several thousand feet or better where you see the yellow. High pressure still in control on Saturday. Still having some issues with dispersion. We see areas in the purple, but the further south you go, it's not so much the wind, but you'll have a better overall daytime heating, mixing things out by the afternoon. You can see by the afternoon, mixing heights here in the yellow, that'd be 4,000 feet above ground level, but still some strong inversions holding tough, especially where the snow cover is in place across parts of Idaho and those deeper valleys where winds also will be light. Any precipitation, it's going to miss us. It's going to stay basically to our north and east over the next 3 days, and then a quick peak going on Sunday. High pressure still in control, still a very dry air mass in this tannish shade. See the moisture pushing up into British Columbia. See the smoke dispersion on the right-hand side. A little better dispersion on Monday because we have a storm system, pretty potent one, pushing into the Pacific Northwest with clouds, but also increasing winds, increasing instability. That low drops down off the Southern California coast by Tuesday. Some moisture into some of the drier areas of Nevada that haven't seen moisture in a while. Excellent overall dispersion. And then on Wednesday, that low pushes into Arizona, and you see the moisture expand. Actually, it's the moisture with this low and another cold front coming from the north. So we could actually see some light precipitation, maybe across some areas as we go towards the middle of next week. Excellent overall dispersion that you would expect with a low pressure trough. And you can see the day 4 or 5 precipitation, pretty widespread coverage, although amounts will be light, just a hundredth to a tenth of an inch in most areas, maybe a quarter inch in some of the higher terrain of Idaho. But that's about it, and not much promise in the future. Warmer than normal and significantly drier than normal, of course, just about all areas. So we go from February 17th to the 23rd. And this concludes our broadcast. We'll be back with you on Monday. Have a great day and a great weekend.